Hello and welcome to Jessie James Beads. Today we're going to make wearable sunlight. Well, a wearable sunlight catcher anyway. So this is the project we're going to work towards. I'm working with crystal clear faceted glass dagger. Now these come packed as two, so that's really handy. You can make two pendants. You can be brave and make them as earrings if you like. I'm also going to add in 5 standard headpins. You can use the shorter ones if you prefer. I'm also working with some Czech fire polish crystals today in pear and 3mm. Let's pop that out of the way for now. To begin with, we're going to work with approximately a 15-inch length of that 18 gauge round wire in silver by Artistic Wire. Now I'm going to be using my memory wire finishing pliers. These are really handy for creating repeatable loops in designs such as this. I'm going to warm through the central segment of that wire and just get a nice, smooth, soft, pliable wire to work with. I'm going to use the smaller side on my memory wire finishing pliers, which is a 2mm pin, which is about the same as the smallest size on your multi-step bail makers, or you could always use round nose pliers instead. So I'm just going to softly grip that into position and cross the two ends of the wire over so that I get a really nice pear drop shape down at the bottom of that design. So you can play around with the angle so that it suits whatever it is that you're looking to create. It doesn't have to be quite such a deep V as I have made. You can absolutely make this your own. So what I'm going to do is just warm through the next piece of wire to the right. I'm right dominant, so I tend to do this side first. Let's pop that pin back in, and I'm going to draw that wire all the way around again. Now you can play with where it sits by either moving the wire or by moving those pliers. Let's draw that all the way around one more time. So for the first loop, to the right or to the left if you're working in the opposite direction of that central loop, we're just going to utilise the larger pin just to create a nice flat surface on the top of that wire, and in that way you get a really nice straight line. I'm going to bring those pliers in again and bring the tail of wire all the way around. Now if you are making them as earrings, you'll need to drop one over the top of the other to make sure that they are the same size. If you bring your loop into position and it's too close together, you can pop that pin back in and just roll that away slightly, and in that way you'll take the loop further away. If you make that loop too far away, you can rotate that in the opposite direction. Let's just unhook the end there, and that will bring them closer together. So ideally we're looking for even spaces between those loops. You can play around with the placement if you need to, just by flipping your pliers over. So that's the first side. I'm going to flip this over simply because it's easier for me to work in the opposite direction. The exact same thing is going to happen now on the far side. So remembering to use the correct pin, which is the small pin, and in that way you'll get the same size loop created down at the base. Just making sure that that is as similar as possible a distance from that central loop as your first one is. And again, once you've got that loop into position, just draw that wire over the end there. You can flip those pliers around and use the larger pin on your memory wire finishing pliers just to generate a nice smooth surface. So let's just have a look at that on the board for a second. So you can see that there's a nice straight lines being created, and that's just utilising the larger pin on those memory wire finishing pliers to help you get that into position. Give that a bit of a pinch. So that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to make one more loop on the end, again making sure I'm using the correct side of my pliers. Draw that all the way around, and if you need to move them, you can just edge them in slightly. So just making sure that they are as similar as possible distance and size wise, and then we're just going to cross over those wires in the middle. So let's have a look. So that seems very wide compared to the other one, but I'm making these as two distinctly separate pendants, so I'm actually okay with that. It doesn't matter. The next thing that we need to do is to just very softly ensure that these loops are set. So what I'm going to do is just grip on the loopy section, not where the wires cross over, and give it a very subtle little pinch. It's a very small movement and a very small amount of pressure, but it helps just keep everything as it ought to be. Before we move on to the next step, what we need to do is to make sure that our beautiful dagger pendant will fit inside the frame we're creating with plenty of space to spare. This will in fact sit a little bit lower once we've tied everything together. So look at where your wires cross over at the top. If you imagine a straight line going up through the central loop down at the bottom in a straight line upwards, that's where those wires need to cross over. Now it's always handy, you can utilise a piece of scrap wire just to check that that is indeed the case, and once you're happy that those are sitting where you want them to be, what we're going to do is to turn one of those upright. So one of my wires is slightly shorter. That's the one I'm going to use to generate the hanging bail. So that one needs to be very subtly moved just towards an upright, so you can see it's a very subtle little bend. The other one, I'm going to grip across that wire and draw it out sideways. So that's come across at the 9 o'clock position on the clock face. And again, just double check that everything is sitting as it ought to be and that your dagger pendant has got plenty of space beneath it. That all looks pretty good. So I'm just going to flip this over because at this stage it doesn't matter which way is facing forwards. What I want to do is to put a shape change at that strong angle change just here. So I'm going to grip across that angle change and just push that backwards. And what you can see is there's a teeny tiny, it's barely a millimetre, straight piece of wire between where it goes across to the side and where it now moves backwards. So that needs to sit over the angle change that goes up towards the 12 o'clock position. I'm going to grip very gently across both of those pieces of shoulder wire. That's the shoulder there, and I'm going to very gently grip whilst I bring that tail all the way around the upright. Now it might bring things a little bit closer together, but that's why we put that tiny little stretch of wire in. It's only a millimetre, but it's enough just to ensure that you keep the sizes on those shoulders exactly the same. So once you've got that angle change, I'm just going to tighten it up slightly and then draw that wire all the way around the neckline, which is this piece up here. That's going to become the bail later. And I'm going to take that across the back, excuse me, as that comes out of focus for a moment. I've wrapped that 2.5 times around that upright, so give that a squish. Bring that back down. So that's now all tied together. Again, you will want to make sure that your pendant fits inside before you do anything as permanent as wrapping around that upright section up at the top here. So that's all looking really, really good. And you can just again make sure that everything is sitting where you want it to. I tend to put a little tiny bend on those small loops down at the bottom, just to make sure that they sit flat in the design. It's a very subtle movement and we're not pressing down where wires cross over one another. So we're going to work now at fitting the dagger crystal into the sunlight catcher pendant, and we need to make this wire really beautiful and fluid and warm. Now the drill aperture in this crystal dagger is immense. It's really beautiful, so it's not going to have a problem at all going onto this 18 gauge wire, but especially because we're going to make this nice and curvy now. So let's give that a really good warm through. I'm going to grab a wooden mandrel, and this is 0.62 of an inch or 15.8 millimeters. A chunky marker pen or a good lipstick or lip gloss will be reminiscent of that size. So what I'm going to do is to put a rounded form into this sideways wire, and we're going to just flip this around. So can you see that the sideways wire is on the front of the design? You can see this is the back, this is the front. Okay, so the wire that's coming off the front now, designate that as the front of the design. So I'm just going to use the very end of my mandrel just to form a round shape, bringing the wire from the front to the front. So I've made a really open loop just like so that you can see that this is going to fit over the front of the design. So the wire came away from the neckline on the front and it's come back to the front. So I'm just going to draw that down so that it sits over the centre of our design, and then we're going to slide on our beautiful crystal dagger. Now, one of the reasons for having giant drill holes in these things is that it can move on an arc of wire. With the best one in the world, if you have a drill hole that's only 1mm, when it goes on to 18 gauge wire, the diameter of which is 1mm, it won't move quite so smoothly. So this very large drill hole is super helpful. I'm just going to draw that around so that it sits perfectly central, and then we'll just dangle attractively inside the top of that frame we've created. What I'm going to do now is to pinch this all into position, give that wire a little bit of a warm, draw that all the way around once, and leave that wire sticking out for a moment. I'm now going to create a hanging bail up at the top of our sunlight catcher pendant, and to do this I'm going to grip across that upright wire, and I'm going to make a small gap between the wrap we've just completed and that neckline wire as it comes forwards. So there's a little bit of a gap, and we're going to wrap into that in just a moment. I have another wooden mandrel. This is a 1/4 inch. I think it's 6.3mm. So what we're going to do is now just create a very simple wrapped bail. Just push that wire all the way around, and I'm going to draw that up and across so that we've got a nice rounded form. With your bail, if you need to shrink it down, you can shrink that down a little bit, and equally you can open it up if you prefer a slightly larger one. So if you don't have a form that is exactly the right size, don't worry. Let's grip across that rounded form, push the wire all the way around. So I'm just going to fill this gap by wrapping that 18 gauge wire into position and give that a gentle squish so that it sits neatly at the top of our design. So I've got 2 wires coming off the front of the pendant in opposite directions. If one of yours is off the back, don't worry, just continue wrapping and bring it so that it's at the front. If they're both coming off to one side, it genuinely doesn't matter one bit. All we're going to do is, once we're happy with everything being nice and square and neat and tidy, just give that a little bit of a gentle encourage. I'm going to take a piece of scrap wire now. I had one earlier that was just the right size. So this is an offcut that I will turn into a spiral later. And I'm going to use this as a guideline so that I can cut these 2 sticky outy wires to exactly the same length. So if I flip that over now and pop it on the other side, push it up against the neckline of the design, and then I can trim away the excess on the far side. You could of course just use a ruler. So now we have 2 equally sized sticky outy bits. I'm going to turn them into little coils to sit over the face of the design. To start my coil, I'm going to utilise the 2mm pin on my memory wire finishing pliers and just bring that up towards me for a second. What I tend to do is to generate between 1/2 and 3/4 of a circular form, like so, before switching over to my flat facing, these are bent chain nose pliers, and just pushing that into my non-dominant finger. When you're creating spirals, don't rush and they will be much, much neater. So I started by spiraling the sticky outy wire that was lowest in the stack of wraps on this pendant, and I'm just going to continue to wrap that towards the middle of the design. When I get that finished, I'm just going to push it down by hand. 18 gauge wire is a beautiful gauge for beginners and seasoned wire wrappers alike, because you can do pretty much everything with it. It's sturdy enough to survive being a freeform pendant, but it's also light enough that you can make it do what you want it to do. So I'm then going to wrap the other sticky outy piece of wire. Let's just bring this one forwards again. So the reason I don't make a complete circle to begin with, I'm just going to invert this, and I only make a small proportion of a circle, is that it enables me to grip around that form and push it into my non-dominant fingers, and in that way you get a really nice, neat, rounded central aperture to your spirals. It makes it much more repeatable rather than trying to get the same exact shape over and over again. Now, because we are currently wrapping the sticky outy bit of wire that belongs to the top section, when you get closer to the middle, you should grip the top section just here. So I'm going to push that all the way around until the spiral sits centrally, And then when I'm happy with its position, I can push that up over the face of that very simple wrapped bail. And in that way, you get a slightly fancy look to a simple bail. The only thing that remains to do now is to make the dangly charms that will sit on the bottom of the design. And for this, I'm going to use a pear drop crystal and a round 3mm crystal. I have a standard head pin here. If you have short head pins, all the better. If not, you will end up with some offcuts, which are very, very useful for making little spirals or to link bits of chain together. So let's just smooth and warm that through as if it was a standard piece of wire. I'm going to pop the pear drop on first, then the round bead, and allow that to sit all the way down against the disc at the base of the head pin. Once that's sitting in position, I'm going to use my thumbnail as a guide to generate a soft bend. We're going to go for simple loops on today's pendant. If you prefer, you don't need to trim it away and you can create a wrapped loop instead. I'm going to use that 2mm pin on my memory wire finishing pliers again, and when I'm making simple loops that I'm going to trim, I make half the shape first, switch my grip and then bring that tail all the way around. So I'm going to hang on to this piece of wire I'm about to trim away purely because I will find a use for it and I'm very thrifty like that. So trim using the correct side of your flush cutters and then just manoeuvre that loop into its final position. Protect the bead with your thumbnail and give that loop a really firm squish. What we're doing here is work hardening that wire so that a simple loop will stand up to the rigours of everyday wear. Obviously, if this catches on something, a simple loop will open. So you do have the option to go for a wrapped loop if you prefer. So once I have created 5 of these little charm droppers, I'm going to open them as if I'm opening a jump ring. And then I'm just going to slide that into each of these small loops where we started our design. So let's just flip that upside down. Hold the bead in position and then close up that simple loop, giving it one final squish. Once you've done that 5 times, you have got your wearable sunlight catcher with wishes for a very lovely, summery, sunshine-filled day for you all from all of us here at Jessie James Beads.